Another subset of anatomical terms are terms of laterality. Now, terms of laterality are going to be used to describe how an organ or a structure is related either to itself or to other things, but it's used in isolation. And what I mean by this is it's different than the directional terms of relationship we looked at before, which would describe something as being perhaps superficial or deep to another similar structure. Or it could be medial versus lateral, or superior and inferior. So terms that come in pairs. If I were to use terms of laterality, they can be used in isolation. For example, if I looked at a muscle in my right thigh, the right rectus femoris, and I described this as a bilateral structure, what that tells me is that there's going to be a mirror image of that structure on the opposite side of the body. So the right rectus femoris is going to be a muscle that helps me flex my hip and extend my right knee. It's going to have the exact same structure on the opposite side of the body with the same name serving the same function. So the left rectus femoris would flex my left hip and extend my left knee. If I were to describe a structure as a unilateral structure, it does not have a pair, meaning it's unpaired and typically found only on one side of the body. A unilateral structure could be like our digestive organs, which would be only found on one side. So my stomach is only going to be by itself. I don't have a right and a left stomach. Similarly, I would have a liver and a gallbladder. These are considered unilateral structures, but they don't have a counterpart on the opposite side of the body. I don't have a right and a left gallbladder, for example. Now, if I were to describe structures as being different structures on opposite sides of the body, I would describe them as being contralateral to one another. For example, my salivary glands, I would have a right parotid gland on my right cheek, and under my jaw, a contralaterally located left submandibular gland. Now, just because a structure is contralateral to something else doesn't mean it couldn't also be bilaterally located. So my salivary glands will have a counterpart on the opposite side, so they could be bilateral. However, if I'm describing different structures on opposite sides of the body, I would call them contralateral to one another. If I'm comparing different structures, but on the same side of the body, I would refer to them as being ipsilateral. For example, I might make comparisons to my left hand and my left foot. They are different structures, but they are on the same side of the body, so they would be considered ipsilateral. In more detail, I could describe my left thumb with my left index finger, or my left thumb and my left big toe, and call them ipsilateral to one another. So these terms are going to simply describe relationships but not be paired like the terms of relationship before. These are now terms of laterality.